Hello everyone, welcome to the Viltra show, and it is time to Kagura Tebachi with the Kagura Bachi chapter 2 review, and to be honest, I'm actually blown away. This chapter was actually very good. I think this series has a lot of potential, and of course, because it got overhyped to hell and back, there are going to be some haters and some stupid people online, but I have confidence in this series. I really like where it is going, and the art in this chapter, it was looking very good. I enjoy it a lot. The way that Chihiro is drawn, he was showing a lot more emotion than in the first chapter. I was a bit afraid that the mangaka would struggle to express emotions in his art, but yeah, he's doing it pretty well here. I like the jokes too. A little goofy, of course, but the style of humor, you know, it hits for me. That's the kind of humor I like, personally. And even if Chihiro, the main character, is maybe a bit boring, he has his friend Shiba, and Shiba seems to be a lot more expressive and jokey with the way he's talking. And he seems to have some kind of a teleportation ability that he used to get the kid out of the way of the Yakuza that got resurrected. So yeah, there are many different kinds of fighting styles in this series as well. There's the swords that were actually invented by his father with the special powers. Then there's the necromancers that killed his father. And then maybe Shiba has necromancy, or maybe it's like some other kind of magic. But some kind of a teleportation technique. And I thought it was funny how he grabs the kid out of the way because he's getting attacked. But he's kind of panicking, so he hits the kid on the ground accidentally. That kind of reminded me actually of in Mob Psycho 100, where there was the teleportation guy and he grabbed the guy with his hand and he was slamming his face, and every time he slammed the face, he moved the kid or the guy to a different place, and then there were just cracks everywhere. I thought that reminded me a lot of that. And I wonder if the kid is going to be a recurring character or not. I don't know if we got his name, but wait, I think we actually did get it. Let me go up a bit. Oh, it's Akore, maybe. I think it's Akore. And he's not really a kid, he's like 16 or 17, something like that. Yeah, looks like he's probably going to be a recurring character as well. He got a reaction shot to like getting teleported outside, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be a relevant character later. There's probably some kind of a reason why the Yakuza were interrogated in the, you know, him and the village, so I'm excited to see what that's going to be about. Then on Chihiro's father, he got some more screen time in the flashback, and he was talking to Chihiro about how he needs to change his own fate. Like, he doesn't need to follow the footsteps of his father, he doesn't need to become a swordsmith as well. You know, he could think about what he wants to do himself. So he's not pressuring Chihiro to follow his legacy or something like that. He probably was regretting making the swords that were used to kill people in the war, so he doesn't want his son to feel that way. But of course, his son is now by himself and he's looking for a revenge, so he's definitely going to feel that regret at some point. And I don't really blame him, because the necromancers took the 6 swords that his father made and stashed into his house, so that's like why they attacked their father. He took all of the 6 demon swords and hid them in the house so that they couldn't be used by other people probably after the war. And then, you know, they came to steal them, and they killed his father in the process. And they didn't just stop with his father, they destroyed the house and killed the fucking goldfish. Like, how could you fucking do that? Absolutely horrible. But jokes aside, I thought that flashback really added to the emotional depth here, and I was feeling some attachment to the characters already, which is a good sign in chapter 2. Especially in Shonen Jump, because these series really do get axed in like 10 chapters, so you really need to get going fast. Also, I like the cliffhanger at the end of the chapter. Chihiro and Shiba, they went to like a hotel or something in the town. They are staying in this multi-story house. Looks to be like a 1950s, 1940s, early 1900s anyway. Hotel, something like that. They don't have TVs, but they do have... they don't have electric lines either. I think the time frame is actually pretty similar to where Demon Slayer is set in. And that's of course a classic in Shonen Jump. You want to be safe with the start. Necromancy, kind of similar to demons. Chihiro and Shiba, they are a part of some group, I believe, that is hunting for the necromancers. I don't know how big the group is, but you know, that's kind of reminding me of the Demon Slayer Corps or the Public Safety Division or the Jutsu Sorcerers. So, of course, kind of similar. So they are staying in this hotel, and Shiba comes in and tells that they have gotten information about a demon sword. They have been sighted, and of course Chihiro takes out his blade and we see his reflection in a pretty good panel here. The sword has a lot of detail, his face has a lot of detail, very well drawn, and of course he's excited because it is leading them to the Hishaku. And of course the demon sword as well. He wants to get the demon swords back and get revenge on the 3 necromancers that killed his father. So overall I think this series is getting off to a really good start, but tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye.